show.
Hey, Lisa here, Front Row Promotions. How are you doing tonight? Tonight in the house is my sidekick, my beautiful sister Candy, Mistress Candy over there. And our guest tonight is Archangel. Welcome to the house. Hiya, Archangel.
What's going on?
How are you guys doing? Where are you guys from? Tell us all about you.
We're from Jersey.
Dirty Jersey.
New Jersey. New Jersey.
New Jersey. I love it.
All of us are kind of scattered. I'm in Hudson County, Jersey City, and I think the rest.
Bergen County.
Yeah,
I
Bergen.
think the rest of us from Bergen.
Bergen County as well.
Yeah,
All of us, I guess.
Well, Bergen
Yeah.
County is huge, so.
yeah. When I first moved to Jersey, I moved to Bergen County, so I'm going back.
Jersey.
Jersey. Yeah.
Is that anywhere near Wildwood?
I'm originally from New York. Anthony makes fun of me every chance he gets.
Yeah.
No, we all make fun of you. You just don't hear it all the time.
That's fair.
Oh.
That's fair.
Especially from 7 p.m. to 7:30 on Mondays. Just kidding.
No, you're not.
Say it on air.
I love these guys already.
This is us. We're just, we chill out. I'm sorry, someone hit. Oh, Tremmy's not. Tremmy said something on. So, but yeah. So yeah, this is us.
He said, "I'm not turning on the mic, otherwise you'll hear a bowling alley."
Oh,
We'll hear all the balls.
yeah.
Not
God, you balls.
boy.
And there goes
Get
the
your
motif.
balls to the wall, man.
If we
It's
had
like a bomb in everyone's ass.
Oh, God, my balls are killing me.
oh my God, Anthony, are your balls killing you?
Why do you think he's sitting that way?
Why do you think I'm sitting like this, Joy? Come on now.
My God.
So tell me how long you guys have been. How long have you guys been together?
Well, wait, professionally or,
I knew that was coming.
You can answer both, I
okay.
suppose.
So there's a little bit of a story behind that. So Chris and I, Tremmy and I, we've been together 8 years. I'm an EMT, so during COVID, we wound up, taking a break.
Okay.
Appreciate that. And then unfortunately, one of the founders of the band and he was our lead guitar player, he passed away suddenly.
Oh no,
dear.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, so then after COVID dispersed, I wound up joining another band, and unfortunately, due to creative differences, I walked away. And then I called Mike and said, "Hey," but with Mike was with the band about
From 2019.
yeah. I was going to say longer than that. Yeah. So Mike has been there, and I said, "Hey," I spoke to Tremmy. Let's sit down. Let's talk. We didn't know if we wanted to come back as Archangel, but when we finally, the three of us got together, they both said, "Yes, let's do that in memory of Rich." The weird story here is we put an ad up. Riffy came in, very prepared, brilliant. And while he was doing his audition, the lights above him started flickering.
Oh wow.
No. And then we thought the guy outside was screwing with us. So we stepped out and nothing. He wasn't even there. So then Riffy played Rich's favorite song and the lights went completely out over him.
Wow.
So
Wow.
Mike had said, "Don't hire him on the spot."
I said, wait, do the right thing. Let's make sure we get the right guy.
When the
Before I
lights
got a
went out,
chance to say anything,
Right.
she's like, "Oh, you're so in the band." I was like, "So much for waiting." Now we're stuck with him.
So So then we practiced.
Now you're stuck with me.
Yeah,
The
we
story
practiced.
behind that, slightly, if I can interject, was that somehow I couldn't get a hold of Mike throughout the process that when I saw the ad. So I spent just weeks trying to track him down, and I looked at videos and all that. And somehow I found him on Facebook, and I said, "Listen, I'm that guy. You gotta." And he's like, "Well, lead singer's got her leg is up on something like that. She's on this." I said, "Well, okay, but I'm ready. I want to audition. I gotta be in this."
There you go.
I had emergency surgery on my foot. So anyway, so I was out one night and I was singing a band, and Anthony walked in, and I've seen him play a few times, and he's brilliant. So we went outside, missed the whole night of music. We were talking for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
Said, "Hey, you want to try out?" So Mike got in touch with him, and he walked in, and I said the same things. Well, Mike didn't come in for, I think it was his first. No,
Yeah, I missed his first
Yeah,
audition.
you missed
Yeah.
that first practice.
So actually, Tremmy's very quiet. And when he looks, I'm usually the one that looks at him and go, yes. But he actually looked at me and shook his head, and I was like, I was shocked. My latest thing is I say to him, "Who are you?" Because he's acting amazing. He's not as quiet as he used to be. But so he texted Mike and said, "This kid knows his shit."
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and that was it. So
Awesome.
And it felt like Jason Becker walked into the room.
Yeah, basically.
You
And
can't
I
say that
thought,
about me, man.
great, now I got to practice
No,
4
when
hours
I
a day
finally
to
got
keep
to-
up with him.
When I finally got to see him at a rehearsal, I was like, I was telling Joey earlier, I'm like, yeah, no, don't worry about it. I trust, if you guys say he's good, I trust you. And then I heard him, I'm like, holy shit. I was like, yes.
Yeah.
So now we're at like this, an amazing 5-piece, and back the way we, we're going to get back and tear shit up. And
We're a very simple family,
Good.
no buts. It's just, we haven't, no one's actually fought yet. I'm waiting for it.
very funny. I know who you're saying it to.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
No, you know what it is? We respect each other, but I basically, when obviously it's getting closer to our first gig back, everyone's excited.
Right.
I kind of whipped, including myself, I hate going and sitting while they're setting up, but lately I've been scattered because of my foot.
Mm-hmm.
Life sucks sometimes, but we deal with it. And
Right.
So, but we are family and we have fun.
That's good.
We're not here to turn around and say, okay, we're headed for making it. What we want to do is make some good music that makes us happy, plus makes the audience. That's our key. They gotta love us. They gotta relate to the music. So, I feel like we're accomplishing that as a band.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool.
All right, I'll shut up now.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good.
No, I'm usually, when I walk in, they're my therapists. So then they kind of look at each other. I'm like, all right, I'll shut up now.
Therapists and pharmacologists.
And now he is. He brings me my Xanax.
That's right.
Oh boy.
Oh, you
Right.
were baggy this week. I'm
Yeah,
just
but-
fucking
Man.
saying, Riffy.
One cup of coffee just ain't going to do it for this.
So the band's name. Tell me about the band's name.
All right. Oh, so I got to continue to talk.
Yeah.
So
I don't even know the true story behind this yet. So
it was basically the original, I went in as I tried out. So it was Rich, which is the R, we used to have a guitar player, Anthony, which is the A. C is obviously for Tremy, well, Chris. And then the apostrophe is me. And then the original bass player's name was Dave. And then Angel comes from basically something personal from me, but I presented it to them with the logo and they were like, this is brilliant. And that's how we became Archangel.
I love it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, thank you.
You're
So
welcome.
Mike has been taking obviously the A, and we're kind of moving forward and trying to make different logos because this is a different band. Riffy and Anthony are now part of the band and part of the family, so we're trying to make it us now, instead of the old. Because we have a completely different sound. Like when you guys hear the Straight Jacket and Claustrophobic, that was from
I love that song. Oh yeah, I have that video waiting to be played.
So but that's great. We want people to still listen to our freshman album, but now our sound is completely different. I mean, like Anthony and Riffy, they do these harmonies on the guitar. And, if I have to say anything, it's like an Iron Maiden type of feel.
Right.
I'm very proud of them and very pleased with the work that they've done. Even with the old songs, they've made it their own, so, but yeah, so very, very pleased. I mean, Mike went in and redid all the bass on Freshman and on the Freshman album Pieces. And he blew me away. So we started getting a little heavier and thicker in our sound. So,
awesome.
Yeah. Mike does the growls. Anthony and Riffy are going to come in probably later in the album with their vocals as well.
Okay.
So it's going to be, brilliant. I'm very proud of our lineup. I can't even say it. Not one person is the head person. We all work together.
That's good.
Yeah.
You're all to pull together. Yes, I love that.
It's not just goes here. If Anthony comes in with a riff, or Riffy comes in, or Mike has come in with a new song, and we're working on it together. It's not one person. So there's definitely no goes here. That's it. All right. That's
and if I can interject, I mean, just to give you an anecdote, the last time we were in the studio to mix the last song, Anthony was asked to do a small lead piece, but he was unable to be in town. So I went in to do it, and I spent pretty much a half day just going through what I thought was, how would Anthony play this? And I stole one of his little runs, and I had this really complex little pattern that was sort of a walk up and down a scale with all these little pulls, and I come in and I play it and I record it before Mike shows up. Mike shows up, he listens to it and he says, I don't like it. I'm like, what? He's like, I don't like it. It's like 45,000 notes. I just want feel. So now I'm like, okay, you know how guitars can be. And we'll walk it back into the and it's like within, I think 5 minutes we came up with something, but it was that push that was they didn't feel invasive, but it felt slightly uncomfortable, but just enough to get you better, and that's a good feeling.
Well, my whole thing is there's so many guitar players that play, 1 billion miles an hour, and you have your Ingves and so on and so forth. And we're already doing a bunch of kind of shreddy stuff in the main leads of the song. So these little, mid measure leads just to throw something in. Give me something with some more feel. Give me something with more
say what you said.
Attitude, more, don't play, most guitar players, or at least guitar players I've dealt with, they always play with their dick. Don't play with your dick. Play with your heart. Play with your soul. Oh, it's true.
I don't know what's funnier. What's funnier, what you said, Michael, or Joy, how you reacted.
Well, she gets a kick out of that.
Expecting it, were you?
One of the things about me is I have no filter whatsoever.
if anybody knows me, he is worse than me, and that's bad. That's really, really bad.
They're the two fire signs in the room.
Oh.
Like bushes of fire, you know.
Yeah.
Well, the one good thing about the EP that we just finished recording is originally just before COVID hit, our drummer went in and started recording the drum tracks for these songs. And then COVID hit and they were just sitting in limbo. So when we got back together, even before we had a guitar player, we're like, well, here's what we could do. We have all 4 of those songs. All the drums are recorded. I'll play bass. I'll play guitar. Joy will sing. We'll record it.
Talented.
We'll just have to shop that around to find a lead guitar player and see what we can find. But sure enough, we found Riffy, started going in. Anthony jumped in. We were able to put him on the songs. So now all 5 of us are in there. And it's, you know, probably one of the best with all the bands I've ever been in, probably the absolute best music I've ever done.
Yeah.
Wow.
I actually, and this isn't, I'm making more coffee, please.
Yeah, I gotta go make some more.
This is not a joke. I heard the songs and I wrote, we have a group text and I actually cried. See, I'm getting now. No, they seriously, again, like Mike said, we shut down after COVID and you know, again, Anthony and Riffy, you know, as much as I joke around with them and I don't give them enough praise, but they, you know, they came in and they made those songs, and then, you know, I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
No, you're good.
Songs they took. I wrote all the lyrics for these songs, and these were my feelings. And when I write, I think about people out there too.
Right.
I'm hoping that when we go out, they're going to feel the same thing.
That's going to touch them the same way. Yes. Mm-hmm.
So,
Gotcha.
so when I heard the finished product and Anthony and Riffy, just it was, and Mike, I got to say, Mike's playing, you know, because he did that first album. He went in and he took over for someone else. So it wasn't like he was trying to fill the shoes. It made the songs better. But this album, he's off the wall. So again, and Chris is lit up as well. And it's just like, I'm flippant about it. So all right, I'll stop talking.
Lisa, do we have anyone backstage?
I don't see it. Wait a minute. Yeah, they're down here. Wait a minute.
Oh, Chris.
I just checked the chat. Apparently somebody's joining us.
Okay, hold on.
That might be my wife.
Joy, hearing you talk about all that, Joy, I just wanted to reach through the screen and give you a big hug. Seriously.
Oh, thank you.
Oh,
Candy, you're the best.
There's Chris.
I try. Hey.
There's my boy.
Over.
Oh, how's everybody?
Did you have fun?
Are you in the car?
I was actually streaming earlier. I was in the bowling alley, but I don't think you wanted to hear all that noise.
Oh, well, thank you. Oh,
We don't mind hearing your balls.
Well, Chris, you got to remember, we listen to all that noise right there. We listen to all that noise every friggin' Monday.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's true. It's a lot of noise.
You can see when she cracks a whip. He's like, what is that? What version of that song? We're like, uh-oh. Straighten it up. No, I'm kidding.
That's all right. You're good.
what's that called, Joy? The song that you're talking about?
Which one? There
The
was
one that's the emotional that makes you.
no, there were all of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
they were
I'm on
really,
the Zoom.
you know, Shattered was Rich's favorite tune. So when Riffy and Anthony went in, they just brought it, you know,
From here to here.
yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Oh.
Yeah, there's live video of us playing a couple of the songs that are on this EP. There's live video
On YouTube.
of
Yeah.
us songs.
Holy shit.
that?
True, true.
You
I
and your
hear you.
trains, Chris.
Oh, I see
So-
it. It's in the back of you. I see it.
Yeah. So there's video of us with the other lineup with Rich and our other guitar player, Will. And it's a different version. Those videos are great, and I love them because it's like a moment in time captured. But when you hear the newer version of the song, you're almost like, wow, is that the same song?
Yeah.
It's just taken to a totally different level because Riffy and Anthony have just killed it.
Yeah.
And I
You honor
couldn't
me.
be happier with either one of them.
Awesome.
You honor me. Thank
Don't
you.
make fun of me.
Oh. But music does touch your heart and it touches your soul. And when you feel that means, it's a wonderful feeling, and you get the goosebumps and oh.
Yeah, I was telling Joy a couple of weeks ago when she added "I Belong," which is a song from their original first album.
Excuse
And-
me, gotta keep talking.
Yeah, and I listened to the song myself, and it speaks to me, Joy. I mean, it from my standpoint, I when I hear "I Belong," I think of my first foray into the world of sobriety, and how I could feel like I belong in this world. And that so if it touched me that way, I'm sure at many other levels it has to and will appeal and does appeal to people. And
Yes.
really, that's what music is about,
I've had a few even guys. They would come to me and they were like, "Wow." My one thing that I appreciate is listening to a singer that you can understand. That
Yeah.
So, years ago when I studied opera, that was the biggest thing, pronunciating those words in the songs, whether they were English, Spanish, or Italian. I didn't know what I was singing half the time, but my teacher made me, and that's the comments that I would get, like, wow, you can actually hear the words, and they touched me. One girl came up, she was crying after our set, and I'm like, oh my God, was it that horrible? I'm so sorry.
Oh
She
no.
goes, no, you touched me so much. And so
Oh.
that's
Well, you're going to have to lay off that now because you're not allowed to do a lot of touching in person anymore.
Correct.
Oh,
Right, Mike.
I know. I hate that. I know.
Fucker.
I'm gonna touch
Unless you get written consent.
yeah, can I hug you? Can I touch you? Okay, and then going for it.
Sorry, but this world has just gone absolutely bonkers with all.
Oh, I
You
know.
ain't kidding. You ain't kidding.
Joy,
Don't get me
piggyback
started.
Yeah.
go ahead.
Joy, to piggyback off what you were just saying about how music can touch people, how is it when you guys are on stage, you see all the audience members up there, dancing and getting into your music? When you actually see that, what's going through your mind? How does that make you feel?
That just energizes me. And then what happens is the rest. Well, we have not done a gig with Riffy and Anthony, so this is going to be the first, but I know around and I see Chris and he'll start hitting that one, and I'm like, all right, let's go, buddy. And Mike just follows behind. If you go on and see some of the old video, you'll see that it's like electricity, like you hit one and the rest come around, the lights go on, and it's we've had a couple of shows that we've done a few Don Jameson shows, and our very first one, I mean, he came up after we were done and he's like, you're headlining the next show. I'm like, wait, what? So yeah. and sometimes because we are originals, everyone kind of scatters, but usually by the middle of our set, we have a full
We draw them back in.
yeah, they
Awesome.
come up, we Dingbats in Clifton is our home. And that's, the girl who books it, Michelle, she turned around. She's like, I want your first show back.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. So we were like, okay, very cool. And I promised her, and that was that,
Nice.
she gave us the show. So we're, in New York,
New
Nikki,
York.
I love that accent. I love
Yep.
it.
Yep.
Love it.
The walk.
Book, Nicky Jam, Blackthorn, and unfortunately he had to close down due to COVID.
I'm
But-
friends with Nikki. I remember going through all of that. It was horrible.
I love that club.
Nicky,
I played there with other bands and Archangel. It was like, ooh, I was like, when she said, "Hey, we're playing with Don Jameson at Blackthorn," I was like, yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
I love that.
cool.
It was the only club I ever knew where it's like the sound guy paid attention to the bands.
To what was
My
going
very
on.
first time there, the guy never heard us. And it's like, there's a video of my old band playing there. And it's like the minute the music kicked in,
yeah,
lights changed. And all of a sudden smoke started shooting in. And then like the lights went perfect. I was like, did this guy like go home and listen to all the bands and
oh, he,
start studying? I was like, you couldn't ask for better.
For
yeah.
a better person
Yeah.
to do that. Yeah.
I've actually, I've known Nicky for well over 20 years.
Wow. So
Yeah.
cool.
He used to manage the Don Hills down in Greenwich, downtown Manhattan. I've known him
Okay.
then, so you know.
Yeah.
With that being said, like he just wanted us back all the time, and
Aw.
loved the guy to death.
Yeah.
And again, I've gotten to play with people that I've known for 20 years, and they're like, "You're doing originals." Then when I would get done, and they would see us draw the crowds in, and people would come.
Yeah.
After they saw us, people would come. We used to, Chris, right? We used to pack that place.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
So
Absolutely.
cool.
there was one night we did like an industrial night, and we're seeing people walking with the high, Doc Martens on, and they got the green hair and everything. And we're like, we so don't mix.
Oh
And all of
no.
a sudden, no, seriously, they were all came up and they were dancing and having a great time. And I'm like,
Nice.
I'm looking at Chris like, what are we doing? No, not to disrespect him or anything, but they really enjoyed us. And
That's good.
so, Chris and I were like, there's something there. We have something. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So, Anthony, talk up anytime you want.
Right? Like,
Join in.
I don't even know what to say. I mean,
Whoa.
I've only been in this band for a month or two at this point now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, but I mean, what I've done, like, I'm very happy with the work we've done so far.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Aw.
it's
He's baby too.
yeah,
But believe it or not, like when you hear him play, you wouldn't think that. But he's 23 years old. So
Aw.
and the amount, he's only a couple of years older than my child. So it's like, when he's there, I'm his mama,
That's it. Yeah.
you know.
You guys know.
Yeah, he was like, yeah,
So,
trying to get that image out of my head. But he's an old soul.
The good thing about Anthony is he may be young in number age, but he's an old soul.
Yeah.
Okay.
His music ability, like it's not just I'm a metal guy, He listens to the blues and jazz. He has a bunch of different influences and plays that way. Like when he's warming up, he'll just start playing like old school blues and stuff. Hell, there was one night we even started jamming like some 12 bar.
I remember that.
Yeah, we
That was
out of
fun.
nowhere. Joy wasn't there yet, waiting on her. And we're like, well, let's warm up. And he just started playing some blues. And we're like, let's go for it.
And then after it was all over, we look over at Chris and like, we didn't record that.
Oh, man.
Usually we record our rehearsals so we can go back and check on songs that we've already written and be like, okay, what needs to be changed? What mistakes we made? But if we throw like something new, it's recorded. We have it. So we can always go back and reference it and say, hey, you did this at rehearsal. What is that? Let's work on that.
Yeah.
Right.
No.
But all I know is that the proof is going to be in the pudding the minute we get on stage. I am so friggin', anxious to get back playing again.
But
Awesome.
I don't want to rush in either. Chris, you can jump in, but when
yeah, I was going to say that, well, I mean, shouldn't be the Mike and like Joy show here, so we'll have to.
Well, Ricky said a few things, and Anthony just doesn't want to talk.
No, I know.
Please
I'm
interject.
kidding. I'm kidding.
I'm sorry.
I'm kidding.
It's a family show.
No, but I said this during the last practice. I said it was it's so like refreshing to actually play with musicians who know how to play their instruments. Because I've been in all kinds of bands, and a lot of times they don't know, people don't know how to play, and it makes it so much. What's the word? It's just so much more of a struggle just to like write music and to play the music, as opposed to somebody who knows, the people who know how to play the instrument, and it just makes it flow, and it comes out so easy. And then when you write new music, it's just it just makes it a joy. I mean, it's an absolute like pleasure.
And not a play on words, huh? Chris, he had that planned out the whole night.
Yeah, I did.
Like,
I'm really trying to get that in there in this conversation.
No, Chris, if I could say this in a good way, Chris is a perfectionist. He's, I've been lackadaisical, like I said, but we're going to go in. We have 3 rehearsals till next show. So it's going to be all about, okay, here we go. When Chris and I, when we first had Archangel, he gave me one of the best compliments. Every time I came back in, and like my bio said, it was like my first band coming back after the cancer. And, at the end of the day, I was getting stronger and stronger. And he's like, your pitch is amazing. And it's like, he gave me one of the best compliments ever. But we didn't, like I said, we didn't want to go out not having the things, not perfect, but
right. Yeah.
So we were practicing like a year, Chris. So
yeah, sure.
But again, my compliments to Riffy and Anthony, 6 months in, and I'm okay. I'm pleasantly, without me wanting to cry again, just happy.
That's good. Yeah.
So we're gonna rock it. We have our old friends that we've been playing with for years, Mad World. They're coming in. They're excited too to be part of it.
So cool.
Yeah. So everyone should check them out as well. So, but yeah, we're excited. So
awesome. I'm looking on the board, and it says Colette says that Anthony's birthday is on New Year's Eve. He'll be 24. Wow, what a birthday on New Year's Eve. Big
Everybody
celebration. Oh, happy birthday.
Well, Rippy's birthday is going to be on the 23rd, right, Rip?
It's tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh, happy birthday.
Mine was the 12th.
Yeah.
Joy's was the 2nd.
Happy birthday.
This
Happy
month.
birthday. Oh, okay. It's
Chris
coming.
Chris is the only one that has to wait until March, right?
May.
No, it's May.
May. Okay.
Again with an M. I was close.
He's
He's the bull of the group, the Taurus.
Yeah.
Oh, the bull. Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Love Tauruses.
I could be a bull too sometimes.
Yeah, that's why we put it in the shop. Boom, boom, boom.
So what is the inspiration? What has inspired you? It's hard for me to say, but yeah.
Chris, you want to talk about pieces?
I can talk about what I did when I went into to record, if you want.
Yeah, me talk. Yeah.
Talk about your inspiration.
I remember I had I was preparing for my audition, and I was talking to Mike on Facebook Messenger, and he was giving me the music, and I was getting all the old versions of the songs, and I was like, okay, I'll learn the music, whatever, not a big deal. Riffy was very helpful too. Everything was tabbed out. So if I had questions, I just listened to it and I could just play it. But if I had questions, Riffy was very helpful with that. And then I didn't know this at the time, but I said to Mike, I was like, well, if I have questions, I can ask Riffy or the original guitarist. And Mike goes, you can't do that. He's not with us anymore. And I'm like, oh shit. So what happened
okay.
was I took it far more seriously than I was at this point, right? Because I, you
Right.
know, I I don't mean to like sound like a dick, but like I could play some pretty serious stuff at this stage of the game. So I wasn't taking it too seriously at first, you know, but as soon as I found out that I was honoring someone who was dead, I was like, all right, well, if I'm gonna write a lead piece or if I'm gonna write a solo in a place or his solo used to be, what I immediately decided was if it's something that he's on, Rich, I immediately was like, I need to at least keep the same cadences, the same type of the feel. Like for example, there was this in Straight Jacket actually. There is this
Straight
part
Jacket.
in the song. It's towards the end of the solo. So me and Riffy split that solo section into 3. So he would take the first third, I would take the second third, and then there's a cadence in there that Rich has, and Riffy was like, you should write something for that. I was like, I want to. So I took
And you called me up and you said, dude, I got something.
Yeah,
You got
I remember I called Riffy like in like a frenzy, like I got it, right?
Oh,
Like I took the same cadence and I put a harmony on it. And you know, at the last practice, we were going over that, and that's the kind of area I was going for. As far as on the EP, when I went in to do Shattered, I knew I had the second solo in that song because there's 2. So I needed a big ending, and that was the only song where I really was like, all right, I'm gonna start from square one. I'm just gonna do something I would do.
Yeah.
Just screw it. I did all the rhythms on it anyway. I'm just gonna fucking do the thing. So that was really the only solo that I was like, I'm just gonna do my own thing. That's really it. Otherwise, you know, I was like, well, what's he doing? I don't know. It's regardless of whether how spiritual you are or not, I am. So I wanted to honor the legacy of this music because I mean, I'm only in here for like a month and change, you know.
right. Yes.
So I'm like, it's not really my place is to make it my own, sure, but I wasn't refurnishing the house. I was just dusting off, you know, cleaning house.
Some of it,
you know what I mean?
But in essence, you know, besides Shattered, I told the 2 of them, Riffy, what are you doing?
Sorry.
Okay.
I'm trying to charge my phone.
Oh, no, that's fine. No, but you know, I told both of them and the new songs make them, you know, whether there was parts written already. But I think, to be honest with you, like Fight and My Savior, My Sin, that's Anthony and Riffy. That's not an old tune. That's a new tune that we never finished.
Right.
So it was theirs, and then Fight was theirs, and what's the other song? Shattered and
Your Anxiety.
Yeah, I mean, we had a rhythm, but we never finished anything because of COVID.
Right.
Those 3 songs are theirs, you know, and
Yeah, we had a foundation, but never really.
yeah. So,
And there's a bunch more brewing. I mean, Anthony wrote a harmony piece for like a power ballad, as I like to call it, Not Real, it's called, and I just can't wait to work with him to put that together.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
and it's a hell of a stretch, Anthony, by the way. He gave me the lower part of the neck, so I'm stretching 8 frets. He's got Paul Gilbert fingers. I have more like Tony Iommi fingers, so you
No, that's not true. You still have all your fingers.
well, that's not true. That
Oh, Lordy.
Got a point.
Even Chris, you know, like there were things that, you know, he went in and he changed a little bit here. Like he, you know, it's just been a pleasant, you know. We're gonna finish the album and hopefully it'll be out this summer. And we'll do our thing, as we always have. So,
Awesome.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Chris, anytime,
That's pretty cool.
What's that?
anytime.
I can't hear you. I'm sorry.
She said anytime
No,
you feel
you
like
can't.
chiming in.
You can't.
Oh, no.
Are you crazy?
Who's crazy?
No, I'm just. Who are
I
you?
could chime in on the songs. We have Rob from the studio. He just sent 2 more like revisions, so I'll be sending those later on tonight. And the recording process has been really fun, and just hearing it all come together, and all the parts and stuff just mesh, and you have these songs that are really powerful. And in fact, I've said this to actually myself. I don't think I've said it to you guys yet, but it's really the best recordings that I've ever been on.
Yeah.
So
Right.
just to hear by drums and stuff and how they sound, and it's very inspirational, the whole creative process, just when you see it, you're creating something from nothing. And that's the whole gist of it. I love it.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I wanted to focus on was the way it sounded. I kind of wanted to take the reins as far as producing wise, not really, but
Yeah.
I knew what I liked with the drums. I knew what I wanted to hear with the guitars, and the bass and the vocals have to be just in that right spot.
Yeah.
And I didn't want anything to overshadow one or the other. I didn't want the drums to be buried. I didn't want the guitars to be too overbearing and drown out joy. And I mean, I'm just a bass player, so it don't matter. But
No, but that's
That's Doc.
but that was one of the things. The way everything worked in the studio just felt so much different from any of the other bands I've ever done any recording with.
Can I
Right.
interrupt a second? There was one night we were working on My Savior, My Sin.
I was just going to talk about this story too.
All right, go ahead. You can.
No, go ahead. Go.
No, so we were thinking, we went in and we did the harmonies for the beginning.
Yeah.
And but before
Actually, it wasn't even the beginning. It was just to be part of the chorus.
Right.
Yeah.
before that, Mike was thinking, I was thinking, and then all of a sudden, we were like, "Oh my God, we have to do this!" And there was a moment where it was just like, we're on the same page, and we got all,
We literally stopped, looked at each other. We're like, yes.
yeah, Chris,
Because we're like, when he isolated just the harmonies that we did for the chorus,
Yeah.
like that has to be the intro of the song.
yeah,
So we're like that, it has to be that.
yeah,
And I couldn't be happier with the way that came out.
The way, yeah.
so
But it hit you both at the same time, and you're like,
Yeah, it's weird that we had that same
idiot.
epiphany.
yeah, it was.
wow, I love that. That gave me the good chills.
Yeah.
Oh,
the good
yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Chris-
So far, everything that's been going on with the band has been very refreshing, very exciting, from the way we've been writing, the way we've been rehearsing, the way we've been recording, right down to the artwork that's been done for the band and everything. Everything's just it's fine.
It's
Like
flowing.
new
Yeah.
ideas for the rest of the album. There's songs that we all wrote. One of mine, I just introduced another new song to the band. I'm like, hey, I had this idea. Take it. See what you guys think. And Joy and I are now working on lyrics for it together. And Anthony and Rippy have a bunch of stuff. So we're like, yeah, we're not going to be a little shorthanded when it comes to
Right.
next album.
Through,
Like I said earlier, it's not just one person. I literally, before I went to sleep, I was listening to a song. I literally woke up in the middle of the night and started writing. I always have a pen and paper, and then Chris is going to come in with these thick drums that I hear. But Mike hears something else as well. But it's again, it's not just one person. We work together.
Yes.
That's what a band is about.
Is all together making the plan. Yeah.
And apparently we karaoke together as well.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I love
Yes, I finally dragged them out. See, my mother got me into doing karaoke, and I'm like, why would I want to do karaoke? I play on stages, I sing in front of people. Why would I want to do karaoke? And then I kind of got addicted to it. Found this little shithole bar in Secaucus that is now like our place. And we celebrated Joy's birthday by going there, and like we all got up and we're singing, all five
Even
of us.
Chris sang Asia.
Chris doesn't sing.
And I was like, are you kidding? I'm like, who are you? Who is this person? You know? So I got to get him a shirt that says, who are you? So,
Yeah, who are you? It's a big question mark.
No, the thing is, who are you on the front? And on the back it says, I'm the drummer.
Okay, that would be cool. I like that.
I'll make that shirt. That shirt.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, Mike has been behind all the new artwork, and when he came up with the idea of the globe and the, basically, the crystal ball, I lived in Salem, Massachusetts, and I wound up becoming a 3rd degree Wiccan witch, so that he placed that in there, and it's it was just perfect. So I put it up the other day. People are just, coming in and say, who's doing that? So Brain Dead Images is Mike's company.
Was that the last image that you put up? I love that.
That's all my artwork.
Yeah.
I do, your standard conceptual art plus with a little graphic design mixed in. So
Gotcha.
I do a little bit of both.
I'm sorry, joking.
No, it's okay. God bless you. I hope you're okay.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay.
What joke?
What's that?
I said no joke about me coughing.
Listen, Joy. We all got it.
Don't egg us on. We're trying to behave.
It's okay.
Yeah, we're trying to be nice. I could have made a comment.
We would have rolled with that one. It would
Joy,
be 15 minutes of it.
Company.
Oh, dear God.
See, this is us in the rehearsal studio and the recording studio. Like Rob from REM Studios, he very quiet man, very reserved, and we get him laughing, and
We kind of broke him out of his shell.
yeah, we broke him. Period.
Oh, I got you.
His wife Lisa, they're a very creative couple. She does the photography, she does photography, and she's brilliant too. And it's like we kind of bring them out of their comfort zone. But yeah, we broke both of them, and now they're
Yeah, I can't wait to see all the pictures. She took so many pictures of us documenting from the day we came in until the last time we were there.
Okay.
And she's got like, what would you say, about maybe 200-300 pictures taken?
yeah, yes.
Give or
I've
take?
never experienced anything like. There was the solo for a fight. I had to get on the wah pedal, and I'm holding the guitar this way, and she was on the floor with the camera facing up. And I didn't realize it. I looked down, I'm like, oh my God, she's taking pictures in that angle. Everywhere you turn, there was a camera,
Well, good thing you weren't wearing a skirt because,
Yeah. The good thing I was wearing clothes this time.
Right.
this time.
He wears a kilt, and no, I'm kidding, but I'm sure if we put a kilt on him, he'll be.
I'm actually thinking of wearing a kilt on stage.
That's fine. You can do that, but
Fair enough.
The dangle.
I don't want to see it while I'm on stage because I'll just start making jokes.
Look, I want to bring people into the show. I don't want them to leave. I will be covered up, but I'm actually thinking of getting a kilt.
Oh,
You gotta understand something. I come from bands that were very theatrical, or I tried to make them theatrical, whether I was wearing elaborate face paint or masks and
Something
know,
like
so
that.
too.
Yes. Oh, okay.
The very first show that we had with Mike and Straight Jacket came on. All of a sudden, I turn over and he's got like a Hannibal Lecter mask on. I'm like, oh, jeez.
I actually,
So cool. Oh,
He didn't tell anybody he was going to do it, and all of a sudden, I'm like, what? So no, he is, but it's okay because adds to the electricity. It adds to, you know,
more, electric, like you said, yeah, more interest of the stage, yeah, presence, yeah.
Sure,
Yeah.
the showmanship.
It's a lot of, and the funny thing is, I actually, when I first joined Archangel, just as I was researching all the music, I'm like, wait a minute, they got a song called Straight Jacket, and I'm listening to it. I'm like, wow, that's kind of funny because one of my old bands had a song based about being locked in a mental institution, which we did a video for, and I'm wearing this heavy duty, authentic face restraint mask.
Oh my God.
And, I felt like my nose was getting broken because it's just like literally crushing your face. But when I was like, I still had it. And I'm like, well, this is about being locked in an insane asylum. I turned around, I put the mask on. She looked at me like, who the fuck? Like, that's where the whole who the fuck are you kind of thing came from. And the people were looking at us on stage like, who the hell is that guy?
But here's
and they loved it. So that's what made it great.
Has to happen. But
yeah.
The thing is, we're not only a band, but we're individuals, so we, if you see one of the videos on the page, like all of a sudden I'm videotaping them and the joke is, I always have to leave early, but we're on time, and they basically they hook in, they're hookers in the parking lot. That's my little joke to them.
Oh,
we like to talk.
Griffey starts jumping up and down and
it's my ballet routine. I can never nail it.
Yeah. Everybody, Anthony's like, and so it's like we have our individuality, which we allow each other to do.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, but it's chemistry,
right.
between the five of us. We, you can go into a studio and work together as musicians. That's fine, but when we're outside, we have to have that
connection. Yes.
Camaraderie.
Right. And we do have that, Anthony and I go out a lot together with his girlfriend, KK. Well, I call her KK. And
shout out, dude.
And she's, she's like all about it too. So it's we that.
That's good. Very supportive.
Definitely, there's definitely chemistry there. And
well,
there.
That's what I mean. When are we going bowling?
Sure.
You just want.
I come from a family of bowlers, Chris.
But you just want
blow your balls away. I'll blow your balls away.
No.
Yeah, okay. We're talking about putting fingers in a ball and rolling it, not the way
Our
you're
shows will be ongoing all night.
Yeah, come on. My balls weigh 16 pounds. But they're pretty big.
Well, you are old, so they hang a little bit,
You bowl a 15-pounder.
Joy, the reason why he brought it up is because he just wants you guys to play with his balls, I think.
Andy, yes!
He wants you to get his balls out of the gutter.
That's right.
Oh, shoot.
This is us. This is us. You want it. Lisa, you want it.
I did. And I love you guys. Oh my God, I love you
Well,
guys.
Well, the funny thing is, we could have came on and we could have been like, well, we're blah 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 musicians and blah blah blah, and this interview would have been over like in 15 minutes.
Yeah,
we're going on 54 minutes on this interview already.
I just got to add.
I still don't think we got anything accomplished.
I got to add something. When you hear our music, on the recordings.
Mm-hmm.
When you come to our show, you're going to hear exactly what you have on that album. I am not auto-tuned. That has been something that was said. And I guess it's just to, unfortunately, there are bands out there that have to dismay other bands. But I'm not auto-tuned at all. So when you come to see us, like, Chris isn't pulled to timing that didn't happen, or Mike's bass, it's not, he didn't play every note. Same with Anthony and Riffy. every note is ours. Every
Right.
vocal is ours, you know.
Gotcha. Yes.
So what you hear when you come to a show is, you know, I mean, we have certain, obviously there's certain like things were probably like the beginning of My Savior, My Sin. We, you know, that's there's production to that. But if we really wanted to, we could sing that, you know, it's not an issue. But
Right.
to have that little bit of extra, the reverb, making it wet enough. So, you know,
Little delay.
right. Yes. You know,
Yeah.
it's you know, certain things, of course, you know, I already got a little megaphone, you know, for some of the parts.
Right.
Like, you know, we are what you hear.
Yes.
When you take our album, you know, which we'll be having that on iTunes and Spotify and whatever after the new year. But when you do it, you're hearing us. We're not doing anything special, you know.
Right.
And we wanted that, you know, as a whole.
Right. I got you.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
think-
because certain.
Go
No, I
ahead.
was gonna say like certain. It's always been like a philosophy of recording what we can do on stage and not overproducing, and you know, because you don't want to oversell it where people say, oh, that's like all these effects and stuff, and then when you play it on stage, you don't hear those effects. You kind of want to make it equal, where what you hear on the CD is going to be what you hear on stage.
Yeah.
Right. You want it to match. You want it to
Yeah.
be exact to what it was there.
Perception of this band, that was like my big thing, and Chris was like, yes, you know.
There you go.
Yeah, so we again, what you see is what you hear on Facebook is what you're going to get when you come to our shows.
To the shows. Yes.
Yep.
So if I
Or,
can,
or when we come to where you guys are. So
I would love for you to come to Baltimore. That's where I'm at. Well,
Yes. No,
yes.
we're definitely Psycho Steve. We're
Yes.
I've known Psycho Steve for like quite a few years, and we're going to
Sweet.
go ahead and work on that, getting out of the state, and you know, we're getting there. We're getting there.
Awesome. Now, Candy, she's in Canada.
So,
So,
whereabouts in Canada?
Toronto.
fine.
Oh, I was just up in Niagara not too long ago on the Canada side.
sweet.
Oh
Yeah.
shit.
I gotta get, you know, permission from my parole officer. No, I'm kidding.
I'm actually good friends with a Canadian band up there. They're on Napalm Records called Sumo Psycho.
Yeah, they're
Don't
great.
know them. I don't.
Yeah,
know.
I got to become really good friends with them, my wife and I. And
Oh, very nice.
I'm really kind of hoping that I can kind of milk them into, hey, if you need an opening act when you come back in through Jersey.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Jinger. No,
Get Psycho Steve on it. See if he can pull you in there.
I think I might have a better chance on that one.
I think so.
Only because I mean I have their phone numbers. I could text them, and you know.
Oh, well, that's good too.
Yeah.
Yes. Awesome.
Not to mention Matt, the guitar player for Sumo. I gave him a guitar.
Right.
Oh
Oh,
wow.
wow.
I literally said, "Here you go." He's like, "No, you're kidding me." I'm like, "No, seriously," because they actually came down to play Dingbats in Clifton, and I was having an issue with my hand at the time, and I said, "You know what? This guitar's going to waste. Take it." And he goes, "You're shitting me," because he plays the same brand and
Right.
he's endorsed by them, and he has one in a different color, and he's like, "You're fucking shitting me." So yeah, I got pictures all over. If you look at some of the pictures on my Facebook, you'll see, you know, they did this killer VIP thing, and he can't stop smiling ear to ear, and great people,
Nice.
absolutely great people.
Oh, he was so happy to get it. That's so cool.
That's what happened too. You know, we've opened up for Saving Abel and Corey Glover, and what happens is, you know, what you find out is, you know, also Alita's Way too, very humble musicians, and that's what we are. You know, we're still people at the end of the day.
Right.
We go to the bathroom just like the rest of them. You know,
Right. Yes.
Chris?
Absolutely.
Some of us in the middle of
It's not
rehearsal.
stuck up in the clouds.
I go
What is-
I go to my office for 10 minutes before, you know, during rehearsal.
That was one of my questions. What do you guys do before the show, like to prepare for the show? So there you go.
My old things that I used to do to prepare for shows would just, I needed to be like 5 minutes to myself to find that other person, that other persona, that other side of me that I need to go up and attack.
Right.
If I was singing, I'd have to do a couple of shots of hot sauce first and then go out.
Wow, hot sauce. I never heard that one. Okay.
It helps clear a lot of the phlegm in your throat.
And
Oh,
his
nice.
Yeah.
Okay. That works. Oh, good.
Yeah. I obviously warm up. Yeah, there was one night we were doing Debonair's in Teaneck, and I was in the parking lot across the street, and Chris and Jen, his girlfriend, they were walking in, and they're like, "What the fuck?" And Jen was like, "It's Joy." So
Aw.
they across the street, you know. So I was like, "Holy shit!" You know, I didn't think I was that. But
You have an amazing voice. I wanted to tell you, I love your voice.
it comes from the heart. That's it. It's
Absolutely.
nothing special to me. But
Mhm.
the guys, they, you know, like I said, Chris has given me the best, compliment. But all Mike was saying when they were done with the music parts, it's just like they couldn't wait to hear the vocals on top of it. And I
Awesome.
all flakempt during the studio because it was just like, you know.
So
but
when
not-
did you?
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Lisa.
No, I'm sorry. No, go ahead. When did you all like realize that this is what I want to do? I want to be a musician. At what point in your life? Like, when did you start?
Well, I could start with that one. I mean, there was a time back in high school when I started to play drums. I didn't think I was very good, so I really didn't have the confidence to be in a band. And over time, as I kept on playing, and maybe I was would play with a few guys here and there. But what happened is that at one point I said I really want to buy a professional kit, a professional drum set. When I did that, I said, well, I really better join the band. Otherwise, this is really just a waste of money. So that's what I did. And so it kind of started from there. And slowly over the years, I gained the confidence. And I remember my first show out, I think it was at a Belmont Cafe in Haledon, New Jersey. It's long gone, but I remember
that place.
I remember being so nervous and getting out there and just, I was I was a wreck. But now it's it's a lot different when I go on stage, to kind of piggyback off what you were talking about. How do you prepare for a show? Aside from setting up all the equipment and the cymbals and stuff, I try to tell everybody else, I say, hey, there's really nothing to be nervous about. As long as you have your health and you have your friends and you have your family, who cares? Just go up there and have fun and do your best.
Exactly. Do what you can do. Do what you love to do. It's your passion.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony.
If I may.
Well, we're kind of hoping you would.
So it all started. I don't know. When did I start playing guitar? Okay, so get this, right? So I was, for a while, I was 10 or 11, and I wanted to play drums, real bad, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. My dad growing up, especially more so when I was really small,
Mm-hmm.
he played guitar for me, and he had this white Gibson SG, and it was cool as hell, right? And I was just like, oh, it's so cool. And I was playing a bunch of Guitar Hero at the time, and this was I was 10, 11 maybe at this time, and I was getting bored of playing Guitar Hero. And then I was around a couple of people that were getting guitar lessons. And then they were like, okay, well, and then I would inquire about what they would learn in guitar lessons and stuff like that. I had always loved music, always, my whole life. Even when I didn't play an instrument, I tell my girlfriend this all the time. I was like, dude, it was inevitable. I had to have become a musician eventually. I would have played something. If not guitar, it would have been something else.
No matter what it was, it's going to be some type of
Yourself.
Absolutely. I had a passion for music forever. But it just so happened that like the perfect storm was just kind of there, and I picked up guitar. And for that first like half year that I played guitar, I didn't even own one. I just used my dad's. I used friends' guitars. I borrowed instruments,
Awesome.
and then I don't know. I kind of just. I remember I was like playing baseball at the time. I was doing a bunch of stuff, and everything got shelved. Like I remember going home after school. Like I stopped playing video games, and I'm born in the digital age. That's crazy, right?
Oh wow.
Like, I would
Okay.
go home, play for hours. I didn't care in this room actually, but
Oh.
I would just play for. And my dad would be like, and my dad, of course, being the man he was, he's like, okay, you're playing guitar. We're gonna introduce you to some names, and then he was like, okay, well. This man's name is Joe Satriani. Let's talk about this guy. Let's talk about that guy.
Right.
Him to, guide me. And then, I was like, okay, well, I never took a lesson, so I was like, I'm just gonna go play whatever I think is fun. So I just played what was fun. So I remember I was like 13 years old, and I was playing the rhythms, like Surfing with the Alien. And my dad walks in, and he's like.
Ah,
What? He
yeah.
like loses his mind. And then I started playing in bands when I was like 16, 17 years old. Was it any good? No, but I was having a great time.
Well,
I
that's
didn't
good.
care.
Oh.
I'm playing guitar for like 13 years now. Like that's crazy to me. But
Wow.
that's
That's
more than half my lifespan at this point, which is
there
pretty
you
nuts.
go.
But if I'm playing a show, I don't do anything. Like I just learn the material, and I'm just like, all right, I have a performance I have to do. Like that's what it comes down to me. Like I've been frontmans. I've been get me a microphone. I've done backups. It just depends on what band I'm playing in at this point. It's just like whatever.
Yeah.
Like just tell me what I got to do. If I gotta
Aw.
put a big footprint on, I will. But it's a performance more so than it is. I don't know. Like if I'm in the studio, like if I'm in a rehearsal, it's like okay, I'll just stand there and play. Performance is a performance, and that's totally different.
Right.
But I don't know. Like if I'm playing a show, I'm playing video games all day. I don't care. I do nothing. I try not to stress about it because if I overthink it, I'll panic or whatever. Especially if I know like there's gonna be a bigger audience or something like that. Like I'll just
We're not going to tell you that.
better not think about it.
Yeah.
I'll just get there. we'll cross the bridge when we get there.
Right. Yeah. Don't sweat the small stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, music has always been a big part of my life. Always.
That's good.
So
Yes. Absolutely.
It's funny because I'm a math teacher by trade, right? So I don't look like a math teacher.
No.
I'm more like a music teacher, maybe, but not.
Yeah,
math.
right.
Yeah.
If you were my math teacher when I was
Right. So that's what I get. It's like, oh, you should have been my math teacher when I was a kid, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm.
yeah.
Oh.
26 years ago, I graduated. Go ahead, Riff.
I grew up. What are we talking about? what we do before a show, or what?
Like, what got you
inspired
started on the music thing?
All right. I grew up in Brooklyn, in East New York, in the hood, and I grew up in a very Latin household. And there is a type of Puerto Rican guitar called el cuatro, which is like a ukulele, and a lot of
Yeah.
my uncles play that and all that. And I grew
Okay.
up around that, but I kind of took to it, and I really liked it, but it wasn't drawing me in. And I had a cousin that was a DJ, and he had a bunch of, he did a lot of the freestyle stuff, and he did a lot of the block party jams, and he had a case of records he was going to throw away. And in that case was The Song Remains the Same, Led Zeppelin, The Stroke, the Billy Squier, a bunch of rock
Yeah.
albums. And I
Oh,
picked it
nice.
up, and I started listening to that. And before you knew it, I got hooked on the very pentatonic box of Jimmy Page and stuff like that. And that was my playbook for a long time. And I got my first guitar, and an old beat up 1984 Kramer Striker. And I was the only kid,
I used to
growing.
have one of those.
Yeah, I still have it. Actually, I have it tucked away back there. I relicked it. I tried to. I did a horrible job. I still have it. It needs a fret job. But the rest was history. I mean, what motivated me, I think, was I was the only kid in my neighborhood that even liked rock.
Oh wow.
You know, and but
yeah.
ironically, it wasn't until a summer trip I took to Puerto Rico when I was 16 I really got into metal, because I turned out I had a cousin out there, and there's actually a big metal scene down there, and he introduced you to Maiden and Black Sabbath, and at that point, Megadeth had just released "Killing Is My Business," and "Business Is Good," and I'm thinking, wow, this is my voice. And that was it. And I took lessons with a kid in my high school named Chris DeLeo. He was like the local shredder. And the first song I learned to play on a guitar was "Seek and Destroy" by Metallica.
Love it. I love that song. Oh my gosh, yes. Perfect.
Joy.
All right. So I've been singing for years.
How long? I didn't hear you.
I was singing. I'm sorry. I have the thing up. I've been singing for years. And my first 8 years singing, I sang opera. And my brother basically gave me a mixtape of like Pat Benatar, Janis Joplin, Heart, you know, all the female, you know,
yeah,
at the time. Plus, on the other side, I was getting Metal Up Your Ass.
That just sounds funny.
Yeah. So I went to my opera teacher, and happened to be, by the way, I had the same opera teacher as Maria Brink, because she's from Long Island. So,
okay.
Yeah, so we, you know, but I grew up in East New York too, and we were in a dominated
New York
and you know, neighborhood. So a lot of it was the Sugar Hill and Cypress Hill, and you know, NWA had just come out, you know, this and that. So by the time we got out to Long Island, and you know, I heard all this new, well, to me it was new stuff, you know, and then I started hanging out in Teenage Wastelands and and all the, what we called dirt bags back then.
Oh.
Basically, what I did was I took my uncle and I basically did what Bruce Dickinson and Jeff Tate, you know, went ahead and took that and put it in. So, you know, I did have a girl band back in the day, and not to be morbid, but my keyboard player killed herself, so that ended. But as you see in my bio, you know, I started singing covers. I didn't want to do originals anymore, and but when I got sick, when I beat the cancer, I was like, you know what, I don't want to do covers anymore.
Yeah.
And like, all right, let me jump over the bridge. At that time, the early 2000s, you know, metal wasn't back yet, you know, so it was still over here in Jersey. So I was like, let me go over. I found Archangel, and it's been heaven ever since.
That's awesome.
So,
I love that. Yes.
Yep, Mike.
Well, for me, wanting to play anything musical all started the day I got my hands on Kiss Alive 2.
Ugh.
There you go.
No, wait. It has nothing to do with the music. The minute I opened up that gatefold and saw the band on the risers with the fire and the pyrotechnics and holding their guitars and just looking, I'm like, I gotta do that. I was like, that's it right there. So I was always intrigued by playing an instrument and always wanting to play. And I'm like, I got to do something like that. And then it wasn't until I was about 17 that I joined my first real band. And I started off playing bass and pretty much been doing that. You know, that's always been my fallback, but I've also done vocals. I've done guitar. I play drums.
I was just going to say, the first time I met Mike in the other band, Six Dinner, he was actually
the drums. Yeah.
I was at. The funny thing is, one of my first introductions to Archangel was my band Sinners played with them at a venue. And then almost a year later, I was playing that same venue with Archangel.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, so it was kind of weird how that all fell into place.
Turned out to be.
But,
yeah.
Yeah, I joined like Metallica, Slayer, everything. That was like what I jumped into head over heels with the band I was in. We were trying to do the old, that old school thrash, and went from that into like the punk hardcore scene. Yeah, there was even a time where I was into hardcore rap.
Hardcore rap. Okay, I get it.
The old school stuff, like NWA and Ice Cube and Cypress Hill and House of Pain and Onyx and shit like that. That was the stuff that I was into at one point. But then I started going back into the metal thing. Tried starting like an 80s metal tribute band, but that fell apart. But then my next real serious band, we kind of did the Swedish melodic death metal kind of thing. That fell apart. I went from that extreme all the way to coming out in corpse paint and spikes and the whole black metal thing, and breathing fire and pouring blood all over my face. It was great.
That's how I met him.
Wow. What? Oh.
Yeah. And funny thing is, Joy, that was me without makeup. unlike what you see here. But went from that, and then the last serious band I was in, we were together for about good 8 years and put out a bunch of stuff, and even had Mike LePond from Symphony X play bass on one of our albums, which was absolutely fantastic. But
Mike's a great guy.
He is the most humble and nicest guy you can ever meet. But the fact that eventually I had to learn his bass parts, because we hired him to play bass on the album because we didn't have a bass player. Our bass player, left. So when he recorded everything in one take, in one sitting for all the songs, which I was really pissed at, I was like, you suck. In a good way, I mean. I was like, great, thanks a lot, Mike. Now I got to learn how to play your shit on these songs. Thanks a lot.
Oh, I got you.
And then I kind of I fell into a little bit of a funk. I lost some people in my family that I still haven't gotten over.
Yeah.
And I needed a break. Yeah. And when I was ready to start playing again, I wanted to do something different. I didn't want to play the more progressive metal stuff that we were doing. And Archangel kind of just fell into my lap because I knew them already. We were all friends.
Right.
Saw that they needed a bass player. I'm like, hey guys, I'm available.
There you go.
Down, and Chris and our other guitar player at the time, Will, and Rich. It was pretty much the four of us until Joy came down, and she's like, she asked them, what do you think? They're like, well, he fits in really well. And he kind of, the band sounded really good.
Yeah, that was
the fact that I gelled with the guys meant that it felt good. Yeah, it was something definitely worth pursuing. I'm like, yep, let's do this.
It was that missing puzzle piece.
Yeah.
It was. No, that's actually what, believe it or not, what you just said, that's what I said to him. I go, I guess you're missing puzzle piece that we.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. So, I forgot. I was going to intercede. I forgot. But, talking about Mike LePond, I remember, I was a teenager watching him on stage, and, there was a club out in Long Island called Sunday. And I remember the first time I saw acts. So we filling in, and to the day, I'm just so humble. And you're thinking again, someone who's played in front of thousands of people,
right?
He'd be, and no disrespect to Mike, but you think he'd be a little bit of a diva. Absolutely not. There's
Aw.
a picture of I was taking a selfie and he kind of just stuck his head on my shoulder and and I'm like, oh my God, I got a picture with you. I don't get very much starstruck, but
Right.
when you're growing up and you're seeing someone and then they're right there in your face, Same thing with Corey Glover, like, they were from Brownsville and this and that. And, watching him, he was such a showman. And,
Right.
I took from that too. When you're in the front, you have to have some kind of something,
Mhm.
Chris was saying to me the other night, because I'm wearing this boot, an orthopedic boot. And he was like, how are you going to be you on stage? I said, I'm going to figure it out,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I'll figure it out.
I started calling Joy Alice Cooper.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was walking around like a hobbled.
Hobbling
She
around.
was using a cane, so we're like, well, pull the Alice Cooper thing. Use the
That's
cane
what
as
I call
part
her,
of
Joy
your
Alice.
your show.
Yeah.
I just
There-
got to
there
stand
you
back
go.
because
Just
if she
add it
starts
in.
swinging that thing, forget it.
Yeah, Mike hit me a couple of times in the head with the bass.
Only once in the face.
Right.
There was one night we were playing the show, and I just went to do we were finishing a song, and I went to hit that last note and kind of threw the bass back like that, and she walked over toward me, and I went right in the mouth, and I was like,
Oh,
oh, you know what? She didn't stop a beat. She kept going.
Oh,
Like
Lord.
nothing happened. I'm like, oh God, I've always wanted to do that, but that's not how I wanted to do it.
Not like that. Exactly.
Chris.
Right.
Like I didn't want to do it in front of people.
Here we go, Christopher. No, but there was one night at the Blackthorn I was wearing shoes that I had no business wearing. And I don't know if you remember this, Chris, but I went literally in the air like this. I came down and you heard the whole audience go, oh, but I did not stop singing. And my old bass player, she turned around and she's like, what the fuck are you doing on the floor like that? I was like, I slipped and fell, but yeah, song must go on. The show must move,
You gotta get back up and keep going. Yeah.
Those shoes off. I was still singing and I'm like pulling the shoes off, and I had to sanitize my feet for like 3 hours after because
Oh my Lord.
Yeah, come on. Rock stages are not the most sanitary.
Yeah, that's true too.
Yep.
Well, that kind of reminds me of it. When I was with one of my other bands, we were playing this show outdoors. And even though they had put up kind of a canopy and everything, it was really more for the drummer. It was 104 degrees outside.
Oh God, I hate that when it's outdoor and it's that hot. Yeah.
And I'm sitting there and I was drinking water all day and Gatorade and everything to keep me hydrated. 2 songs in and I'm like winded and I'm like trying to catch my breath. And I'm like, oh dude, this is no good. And my drummer's talking to me, but I'm not responding.
Right.
He comes up behind me and he poured ice cold water down my back, sent me into shock.
Oh shoot.
We ended up going, EMTs came up, they brought me inside, they started pouring water all over me.
Oh no.
About a half hour later, they're like, we could take you to the hospital or whatever. I'm like, no, I got to go finish a set.
I've been there.
A buddy of mine was there and he gave me his big cowboy hat to cover my head and they sat me down, which I hated sitting, but show must go on, like Joy said. Funny thing is, it was a battle of the bands and we won. I think I caught the sympathy vote.
Oh my God. Yeah, you went all through that and then you won. Oh my Lordy, that's good.
Yeah.
Meant to do. So Trummy, I think we're going to finish with your question on did you answer the question?
What was the question?
Oh yeah,
About
he did.
how you got started?
Oh, he went first.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
no, I
he went
already
first.
kind of addressed
Okay.
that.
Now,
I could add to it by just saying that I started.
I wasn't sure if we started. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I actually started playing snare. You like tote around a snare drum in school and grammar school, and you.
Oh, that's right. Yes, you were
go
talking
to the
about
teacher,
that.
and
Yeah.
you rat tat on the snare drum and stuff like that. So I was like, that's kind of boring. But what I did then is I built my own drum set out of paint cans and spackle. I was using spackle cans and paint cans.
We all did that. I had to
I
use
mean,
my mom's pot and pans to make a drum set.
yeah, it was like no, but I mean,
That's
the
normally
thing I
if
made
you're
actually
younger,
looked
that's how
like an
you
actual
start.
drum set. It did, and I had a huge like bass drum. It was made out of some like fiber barrel, and then I had cookie tin hi hats. I actually built the hi hat with 2 cookie tins going up and down, up and down, up and down. So it
I
was
wish
kind
you
of
still
a,
had
Oh,
that.
that's so cute.
I do
Oh,
have that too.
I wish I had a picture of it.
Yeah.
that would be neat. I was gonna say at this time, if I can play the video
Go for it.
for you guys. Okay, so that way everybody can see what you do. And then we're running short on time, and then we'll just a few more things, and then we'll let you go.
All right.
Okay, so here is that. I'm gonna play it. Let me know if y'all can hear it.
Okay.
Candy, you still there with us?
I'm here. I'm just trying to stay alive and stay awake right now.
Okay, you had a long day. Yes.
It was a long day, but a good day.
All right.
That's
Good.
good.
It's a good day.
All righty, and here we are. Can y'all hear it?
Yep.
Yep.
In my straight jacket once again. Told me to bite, told voices strapped inside my head.
Mika, is that you?
Yes, it is.
What I want to do is what I want away. Take it once, take it twice, swallow it down. That's what they say. I'm crazy. Simply my shirt jacket once again. Run around in circles just here in this place. With nowhere to go and no one left to say. I hope it don't take away my pretty soul. Take it once, take it twice, swallow it down. That's what they say. I'm crazy. No, no one to help me. Only to be sitting in my first jacket. Again. Oh, maybe I'm fucking little voices that are trying to inside my head. Trying to convince me I'm a little girl and play. What I want to do is I'm far away. Take it once, take it twice, swallow it down. That's what they say. I'm crazy. Oh no, no one to help me. Cause I'm stuck here. All the time. In my street jacket. We'll go. What do I do from here? Love it.
That was badass, you guys.
That was super cool, wicked, all of it together.
Can I just intercede, like, right? So the three things with that song. So the
Yeah.
beginning, people think, you know, that voice of mine is overproduced, and I'm like, no, that's me. So it's ha ha ha, here I go again. So and the other thing with this song was Rich and I, he wanted to do this so much, this song. We argued, right, Chris, for weeks.
Yes.
And
Oh,
I'm in the bathtub at my house, and all of a sudden, this song, like, I was playing it, I'm like, all right, and boom, it just happened, you know, and that was it, you know. So I forgot the other thing I was going to say, but it's all right. But yeah, you know, it was brilliant, and like I said, Ricky and Anthony, they made, like I can't wait till people hear it, that the harmonies that they do in that song is just
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where was this done at? Like the video? Where did you do the
That was
recording?
the thing. Thank you. That was the other thing.
Yeah.
Chris, an amazing film and videographer. He's a filmmaker and videographer. He spent hours, and you know, I even went and got some to help him out. Went and got some of the things, and him and I went through a weird state because you're looking at all these things, and it's kind of morbid. And you know, Chris, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. No. I just basically the video's been a little bit changed, but I just like researched and just got as much video like footage as I could and just edited it all together. And yeah, it's you know, I mean, when you see a lot of that like footage, you get a little like depressed after a while because you're just like seeing all these really like kind of like downbeat things, you know, like depressing things. But it kind of fit it fit the lyrics, so you know, I had to get it.
Out,
Exactly.
you know, stuck, and not necessarily a sane asylum, but being stuck in a toxic situation that makes you absolutely, you know, crazy. So it's funny. I'm not going to say his name because Chris always hates it, but the whole album it's 7 years of a toxic relationship that I was in, and he'd be like, oh, another song about blah blah blah, and it's like, fuck, you know.
Who the hell you think it is, Taylor Swift?
It's like,
I think
hey,
personally,
but this new album is more like coming out of it, understanding that you are you, and
I think as a suggestion, your next song should be written about a lighthouse.
There you
It
go.
should be. Because,
yeah,
a lighthouse is a guiding light, and you should write about that. I think.
Yeah, my fetish is lighthouses, no doubt.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, an old friend of mine, when you know we got together, he took me to every lighthouse in Jersey, and it was one of my favorite and happiest moments of my life. So I'll always remember that. But yeah, I have a fetish for lighthouses. So I have to come down to Baltimore. There's a couple of lighthouses I need.
Yes, exactly. There's in Havre Grace. You'll
Yeah.
love that one. Right there by the water. It's beautiful. Yes.
So yeah, I have this fetish about it. So you're right, Chris. We'll figure something out there. And Anthony or Riffy can write me something, and Mike can give me my melody, and we'll go from there. Definitely. So, seeing the light,
Right.
So.
Absolutely.
I can't believe we've been on for an hour and change. Brilliant.
Oh yeah. So what would you what type of advice would you give to someone just starting out in the business as
Quit.
well? Quit.
You're not gonna make any money.
You got to want it. You have to want it, because if you're never, unless you fall into that right spot at the right time,
Step in that shit. Yeah.
it's going to be a hard road no matter
Right.
what you do.
Yeah.
I've been at it for years. Joy and Chris have been at it for years. Riffy's been at it for years. Anthony's been at it a couple of months.
Oh.
But seriously, it's good. It's going to take a long time, and it's all hard work. You could put all your blood, sweat, and tears into something, and
Not going.
the right person could hear it and be like, "No, it's not what I want,"
Right.
and it'll deflate you, and it'll
Right.
knock you down. But you just got to be strong enough to
get back up.
want it and get back up and do it again.
But also
Exactly.
your expectations, when Chris and I first got together, we set out to be local heroes. We didn't want to play those stages, but we always had it in the back of our hearts.
Yeah.
Got to have fun doing it. Once it doesn't become fun, and once the chemistry leaves whatever situation you're in, it's time to walk away.
Right.
With our first bass player, she was brilliant, but what happened was, we were headed in a direction that she didn't want to go in, and
Okay.
down, and we were like, all right, it's time for you to go where you want, and that's what we did. And
Mhm.
I came in, and it was the puzzle piece we were missing. And,
Yeah.
but you have to want it, and like Mike said, you have to want it. You have to want to make that music. Not only for yourself, it cannot be selfish.
Right.
It's not selfish in
No.
any form. So it's not you getting behind a guitar or drums or bass and saying, I'm fucking brilliant with this. I'm the best ever. Everybody should humble themselves some way or another. I'm not the best singer in the world. I'm not. But can I hold my own? Yes, because I love it.
Right.
That's where-
You love what you do.
Right.
Mhm.
That's it. You have to love it. You have to have fun. And
Absolutely.
And if you love what you do, you're going to practice even at this later stage in our lives. For me, I mean, I practice every day
Yeah.
because I love it,
Exactly.
And you look at athletes like Michael Jordan, who used to suit up even after, winning a victory, or Kobe Bryant. All these guys, when they were never ever slacking, they were never resting on their laurels. You never know where creativity is going to strike, and you never know where that muscle memory is going to be needed for when you're in that moment. And that's what practice does, and I believe in it. I think everyone here believes in it.
Absolutely. I
Yeah,
got you. Yeah.
I would definitely even like piggyback off of that and say, like, if you're like, for anybody starting out, if you treat it like it's some sort of, like you're out there to just like show off, that's kind of the stupidest thing to do. Because if you remain humble and you just go out there and you do your best and you do what you're good at, like me. I mean, I go to shows and I see drummers who are like light years ahead of me, and I would love to play that, but I don't have the chops and I don't have the age to really like pull it off. But at the same time, I say there's certain things that I'm good at, and I'm going to continue to try to be good at those and continue on with the band, and just do like
Absolutely.
the best I could do. If you treat it like you're out to like show up other people, I just think it's ridiculous. Then that's kind of like toxic. So I wouldn't advise anybody doing that.
that's Archangel. Like I said, there's no, we feed off of each other.
Right.
And then Anthony, even though he's as brilliant and he's a prodigy in my eyes, he's going to learn and understand that, going forward. I told him too, because he's young, and say if he stepped in shit and, somebody saw us and they were like, oh my God, I want this kid.
Mm-hmm.
Even said, we'll kick his ass if he doesn't go, no, because here he is. Again, like Mike said, he's really just starting out in the sensibility of being in a band that's about egos. It's not about, showing up and not hearing yourself and understanding that, oh my God, if you're off key, fix it. If you're, so he's here seeing these things. And again, if someone came out and said, oh my God, and we were part of his growth, if he doesn't go, oh boy, I'll kick your ass.
We've had that conversation
That's
before.
what Art Angel
A part of me would want to kick his ass for him to stay because of the selfish reason.
Right.
Because like I said, he doesn't act like a 23-year-old guy.
Yeah.
He has the, his soul. He's got that old soul.
Yeah.
He's probably one of the few people in this world, if you know your music, you'll understand this phrase. He's probably one of the few people in the world that can really hear Jimmy.
Yeah. I'll give you that.
Some people like, oh, I love Jimmy. No.
No.
You can listen to Jimmy.
Yeah, but you
But
can't.
can you really hear him?
Yeah, understand it. That's
Thank you, Mike.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, but that's why I spoke to you for what we were talking for 2 hours.
Yeah, outside the notch.
Yeah, so that's why we were talking. I was like, this boy can feel music, and he would definitely fit in with all of us. Again, it's not about, of course, each of us would love to play, the PNC to a packed house and Madison Square Garden, of course, in the back of our hearts. But, you got to have the right avenue. And if you're starting, keep going. That's the advice. It's like, just keep going. Of course, you got to have a job and you got to be able to blah, blah, blah. But, just keep going. If that, but you want to become local heroes first in the avenue or the community that you're in.
Right.
And then you can walk, you got to crawl before you walk. So.
Exactly. Little baby steps.
See, my whole thing was no matter where you played, no matter how small the show, how small the venue, or how many few people are not there, I always felt, okay, I'm playing the Garden. You got to think big. You got to put yourself in that situation. I got to play in front of thousands of people at Giant Stadium. Mm-hmm. with a band, and that was the greatest friggin' thing.
Anthony finally figured out what
you guys are
squeezing your head. Okay.
You guys are like children.
Squeezing.
We're like, what?
Joking. You're fine. Listen, I will say
I'm still 15 years old in my brain and my heart. So.
Yes, that's how I feel.
My daughter warns me when we go out together. She's like, "You're going to behave, right?"
Oh. Oh.
And the first thing coming out of our mouths is, "Yeah, Chris is rolling balls." Wow, Lisa. Candy, I know you don't feel so good. I hope you're snoozing.
I'm not quite there yet, but I'm definitely drowsy, as you can probably tell.
Yeah, that's
live.
I've been in the air times like that, and all of a sudden the head goes back and you hear.
Rippy's gonna be that. Rippy's about to be that in a few minutes because he's taking NyQuil.
Yeah, you caught me on that, didn't you?
Yeah. Candy, do you think we're able to do the heart picture? You think
mom said that
peace and love.
Okay. We should do that in the beginning, I suppose. Yeah.
I can take a shot if you want.
You get a picture of all of us doing this?
Yeah. Well, wait. Oh, I can't. The Polish kicked in. Like,
Yeah, somebody out there needs to. If there's one person watching. If they
is
can
it
get
really? Oh, all right. We'll just say hearts to everyone. Keep the
hearts.
music alive. And everybody, listen, support your local band, support the live music. We need that back in the world to make it a little bit more peaceful.
Yes,
Everybody
we do.
needs to be kind to everyone. You're not better than the next person. So,
Exactly.
and
Bingo.
all
Yeah.
our local people will see you
January 20th.
at that Dingbats in Clifton. So,
Awesome. January 20th at Dingbats.
yes,
20th
ma'am.
thing, but
Awesome. And I
Lisa,
just want to
thank you so much,
No.
my girl. Mwah,
You're
mwah,
welcome.
Thank you.
mwah.
You're
A lot
welcome.
of peace and taco grease.
Yep.
There you go. I love tacos. You guys are more than welcome to come back anytime. And if you guys
Let's
want to
get
play
the
your
album
music,
ready.
you want to sing, however, we encourage that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Everything. So where can people find you?
We're on Facebook right now, and we are on
Everywhere.
Instagram, you
Twitter.
can, and Twitter. You can
Twitter.
listen.
I love it. I love it.
Facebook,
Twitter.
Instagram, Twitter,
did you
SoundCloud,
say Twitter or twatter?
That's what I was
and
Twitter.
YouTube.
Better
Hey,
say Twitter.
hey,
Twitter,
ho, hey.
twatter.
Oh, hey.
Oh,
Did you say Chocha? What?
No, I
Oh,
heard
you don't want me
twatter.
repeating stuff.
I'm not
It's all right.
okay. I'm sorry. The NyQuil's making me hear things.
The NyQuil is a little different,
You're
isn't
starting to
it?
space out.
NyQuil,
Yeah, and
NyQuil on
if
the
you go
rocks.
on- if
NyQuil
you
on the
go on-
rocks for when you're feeling sick but sociable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. I love it.
So if you go on SoundCloud too, there's a link on I think both Facebook and Instagram. You can listen to some of the songs from the EP, and then you can listen to our freshman album pieces. So
Awesome. I can't
Yeah.
wait.
yeah, thank you, my love. I
You're
appreciate
welcome.
it so much. Thank
Yeah,
you for all
thank
the
you.
support. And I can't wait till we figure out how to get down to Baltimore. You better be there with your bells on.
We don't go down to Baltimore. We got to go over to Baltimore. We got to go over to Baltimore.
We got to go over to Baltimore.
Over, not down.
Down.
Over.
Over.
OVA, over.
Down, over. It's down and over.
No,
you
it's
go.
not down and over.
It's rise over run, Joy.
It's up your ass and to the left.
To the left.
Wait, what's the the Polish?
I love you guys.
But Lisa,
I
we'll be
knew I
back.
would.
We'll be back once the album is getting ready to release. Definitely. And again, thank
Okay.
you so much. I hope everybody comes back and at least get to know the band. We've been, posting up. So
Absolutely. And another thing too, feel free to post on Front Row Promotions.
thanks.
Post
And
away.
I want to say, Lisa, thank you and Candy so much for all the support you're giving us and posting up about us and everything.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you
You're
so
so
very
welcome.
much.
You're
Very
welcome. I love
appreciate
you guys.
Happy holidays. Okay.
Yes, Merry Christmas, Happy New
Merry
Year,
Christmas.
Happy holidays, everything.
Happy
Enjoy
Happy
Festivus.
Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa.
Yeah, all of it. Yep.
It's all good.
I mean,
Well,
Don't forget Festivus
Riffy, turn
for the
around.
rest of us.
Merry Krampus.
Krampus.
All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys
All
for
right.
having us.
Thank you all.
Hello.
You're welcome.
Peace
Peace
and love.
Alrighty. Lisa, Front Row Promotions. We just want to say thank you for Archangel coming to the house and talking with us. We love you guys. And support local music, support live music, support music in the making, support music everywhere. You have been watching Front Row Promotions. Bye now.
Bye bye.
Take care.